attempt to make a lemon cheesecake today. I'm not sure if it's going to work. I've made a couple of cheesecakes. I'm obviously learning, but this is about having a go. It's not about being a professional. It's not about knowing the correct way. It's just about, hey, finding the recipe in Deutsch, and just doing it. What I'm going to do today, I'll show you, is get everything ready and we'll see from there. Okay, so what we've got here is a spring base tin. Obviously it's one of these that plops open and you can use it whatever. You'll see that I've covered it in foil. That's for a reason, purely because I've tried it before without the foil and read a few forums about how the temperature doesn't stay even, and it can stay even if you put it in a water bath. Obviously we'll see that later, but for that reason then obviously you need to make sure that there's no water able to get through to your cheesecake, because then it's going to be soggy. What we've got then to make the base, we're going to make the base first. We're going to prepare that and then put it in the fridge for overnight so it's nice and solid. We're going to use some, well today, normally I use some cookies. Today we're using these butter cakes, or normal biscuits shall we say, whatever. We've got 250 grams there. I used last time a couple of packets. This time 250 grams. I'm thinking it should be a good sized base without being too thin or too thick. The last time I used 2 packets and it was quite on the thick side. We're going to also use a little bit of butter. It's going to be melted. Obviously it comes in a package of 250 grams itself there. So we only need 50 grams of that. A good basis of that is obviously 250 grams. 50 grams divided by 5. If you put your fingers on there, you've got about 5 fingers worth. So you just need a finger's width of butter. What we're going to do is then put that in here, melt that, and bash the biscuits. Okay, so we've got the biscuits in here. We've got the butter melting in here. Okay, you can see that okay. Yeah, that's obviously going to be melting away. 250 grams divided by 5, you got 50 grams in there. Obviously I've cut it small so it melts a little easier. Back to the biscuits here. This is rolling pin time, yeah? Just something hard that you can bash stuff. And we're just going to bash through everything here until we get everything into a nice small crumb base, should we say? And from there we'll add the butter. Okay, a couple of minutes later obviously we've got this fine biscuit crumb. Obviously it takes a little bit longer. You can obviously put it in a blender if you want. Here we've got the melted butter. What we're going to do, we're going to put that in here. We're going to mix it up. What I'm also going to do is put a couple of tablespoons of sugar in there just to keep it sweet. And we've got some lemon zest. I picked it up just on the shelf. I'm going to try it. It's obviously just like the fresh lemons, it's packaged. That's the only reason I found it, and we're going to mix that in now. Okay, so we've got the butter in there now. We've got the sugar in there now. We've got a little bit of this lemon. So, like I say, it's going to be a lemon chocolate cheesecake. I don't have a recipe. I'm making this up from several I've found on the internet. Obviously I'll put the recipe and the ingredients at the end. But as you can see, it starts changing colour a little bit, going a little bit darker because it's a little damp, shall we say. And through this dampness, when we put it into the tin, it's going to be pressed down firmly and become a nice solid base. Okay, so you can see I'm mixing it in. It's not quite going to a solid there. It's obviously a little bit too loose. So what I'm doing is just adding a little bit more butter to that. It's a recipe. This is the first time I've tried it. We're having a go. It's another 25 grams or something like that. So we're looking at 75 grams in total now. But hopefully that will make it a little bit fast. I mean, you can see here it's going fast. That's how it should be when it's pressed into the base. But there's a little bit too much movement there, so that's why we're adding a little bit more butter. Okay, as you can see, we've added this, but it's still a little dry for my liking. Usually when you start pressing it together, you can see that it starts forming a firm base. It's still obviously a little bit free and loose there for me, so we're obviously adding a little bit more butter. Obviously, if 50 grams is what we originally used, we're going to go with another 50 grams there. Because obviously of the 250 grams of cakes, we're going to mix in then 100 grams total. Okay, here you can see we've pressed it into the base. Now that we're actually pressing it down, you can see it's a lot firmer because of that extra butter. So instead, like I say, it's a recipe I'm making up as we're going along. Originally I had 50 grams down there. It wasn't looking so good, it wasn't being so firm, and so we added another 50 grams, so it's 100 grams of butter there for this whole packet of 250 grams biscuits that we used. And as you can see, it's just pressing the back of the spoon, pressing that down nicely, and when that's done we're just going to put it in the fridge. We're going to put that in the fridge for 24 hours. Then tomorrow what we'll do is get the rest of it together. Okay, we're back again. We've created the base. What we're going to do now is put together the filling, and I've just got a couple of things here that I'm going to show you, and then we can get on with making that. Okay, so quickly, here's the base that we've produced. We're going to get on with that. We're going to put that back in the fridge. Here's the 3 eggs we're going to use. We've got some fresh cheese. We've got 3 packets here, 1, 2, 3. We've got some white chocolate we're going to melt in, a little bit of sugar, and I've got some citronade. It's sort of a gelled sugared lemon peel. They use it in some cake kuchen over here in Germany, and I thought I'd possibly try a couple of pieces of this in it. Again, I'm making it all up. I don't know what I'm doing, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get some of the chocolate into the pan here. We're just going to melt that down so it's going to be nice and fresh to add to the cream cheese later. Obviously that's just in a hot pan there with some boiling water in a jug. Obviously we'll get the other bits, add those in as well, and wait for that to get started. Obviously we'll stir that when it's ready. Okay, so you can see the chocolate's melted nicely there. We're going to add that to the cheesecake mix momentarily. We've also put the oven on to 150 degrees there. What I've got in here, I've got a big pan here. Normally I've cooked this directly on the base, but what I've heard is that the temperature of the oven doesn't help, and it cracks the top of the cheesecake. So what I'm going to do is that's the reason why we've got the base in the foil. We're going to put it in here, we're going to top this halfway up here with boiling water, and then hopefully that's going to help cook it a little bit more evenly and without cracking. So we'll just let that heat up now while we get the rest of it ready. Another quick thing, I've tried this citronade and I don't like it, so we're not going to put it in. Like I say, I saw it on the shelf. It goes in some German cakes and stuff. I don't think people are going to be sort of enjoying a cheesecake when they're chomping through bits of this, so I'm going to leave it out. Okay, so what we've got in here, we've got the 3 packets of cream cheese, Philadelphia, cheaper stuff's okay, you don't have to buy Philadelphia all the time. We'll add some sugar, a couple of tablespoons of that. What I forgot earlier actually is I'm going to add about half of this Schlagsahne, or the cream, to 100 grams or so, just to keep that up. We're going to whisk that up with the whisk here, and then we're going to add slowly all of the chocolate into the cream cheese, and then we've got 3 eggs. What we're going to do with those, I'll show you in a moment. Okay, so there we've just added in the white chocolate, the melted white chocolate. We've added everything else in, and we're going to get started again. Just start mixing that through. Okay, so as I say, we've got 3 eggs initially. What we're going to do is add them in individually, mix those in, and then obviously we've got the 3 eggs without too much trouble. Okay, so that's all the eggs mixed in. Okay, so we've got the eggs mixed in now. One thing I've actually forgotten, lemon. I was going to make a lemon chocolate cheesecake. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use the zest of this. I'm going to use half of the juice and I'm going to mix that in now. So okay, so we've got half a lemon juice. What we've got there. I've got the zest here. I'm not going to add that in here now. I'm just going to add that in because what I want to do is what I want to do is try and separate a little bit of this off, add a little bit of food colouring and a little bit of zest and create a swirly effect. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so we've got the base back out now. We've got our finished mixture that we're going to add in. I've also got my sort of yellowed mixture, shall we say, that I want to try and mix in and swirl in. That's got the zest in as well, so that's going to have a little bit of taste when somebody gets to it. And what we're going to do is add that in slowly now into the base and we'll see where we go. Okay, so here's the cheesecake, it's all loaded in. In the middle, we've obviously got a layer of the lemon flavour. Obviously it's all got a bit of a lemon flavour in the chocolate as well. We're going to get that loaded in now and I'll show you how that works. Okay, so 150 degrees, temperature's all okay. What we're going to do is put our cheesecake in there now. That's been in there just warming. Pull that out a little to load everything up. We've got the cheesecake here. That goes nicely in the middle. Let's put that to a little bit there. And then what we're going to do is add boiling water slowly. I'm going to fill that up. Like I say, this is the first time I've done this. It's supposed to help regulate the temperature in there, so we'll see. It takes about 55 minutes, an hour, but we'll see how that goes halfway through. Okay, so here we are, 40 minutes in. You can see it's quite brown on the top. It's not quite burning or anything like that, but it was I had it on the layer too high, so I've taken it out quickly and put it on a layer lower. Hopefully that will cook through properly now. We've got about 15 minutes waiting, and then what we'll do is just open the door, turn the oven off and let that just sort of cook in the middle without cooking, shall we say, without baking. Okay, so 50 minutes are out. What we've done, we've turned the actual oven off. You can see it's okay. It looks burnt now on the picture, but it's not. It's a nice golden brown on the outside. What we're going to just do is leave that in the oven with the door open just a little bit, and then we're going to leave that for sort of half an hour or so, and that'll just cool down slowly, but still be cooking on the inside. What we're going to do is just take that out, and then it's a little bit warm now. We're just going to take that out of there, out of this water bath, and place it on there to cool. And then, so we're just going to leave that, let it go cool, and then we're going to put it back in the fridge, let it go set, and hopefully we'll see later. I'm going to possibly put a lemon topping on there, but we'll see about that later. We'll see how it looks when it's open. Okay. Okay, so there you can see we've taken it out of the form. You can see the lemon swirl in the middle. It's all looking good. I've obviously got a little bit of the lemon that I'm going to cover here, just to give it that extra touch, and then I'm going to put it back in the fridge just to firm up for the rest of, about an hour or so. Okay, so we've just taken it out of the fridge. We've had that in there for a minute, an hour or so. We're just going to put a little bit of zest on the top, and that is then. And I'm just